Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video are 3 amazing DIYs for Valentine's Day. I hope you love them as much as I do. First DIY, I'm going to show you how I made this adorable heart pom-pom wreath for my daughter's room.
Hold up, baby, I can sit beside you while you're going on about your...
So for this first project, these are the items that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be showing you 2 different sizes of the pom-poms, and for the first one I'm going to be using this second to largest, and then for the other one I'm going to be using this smaller one. But I grabbed this pack of pom-pom makers from Amazon. It was relatively inexpensive. I think it was $10. It did take a couple days to get here. It didn't come overnight like typical Amazon, but that's okay. You also need a pair of scissors and your yarn, whatever colors you want to use. I'm going to be using 4 layers of this just traditional white, 1 layer of this Forever Plush Ivory from Yarn Bee, which has become easily my favorite brand of yarn, and True Colors from Yarn Bee as well. I like the darkness of this pink. So when we are done, it will end up like this. And once we have enough poms, we will go ahead and make our wreath. So now I have 4 strands of this white, and the way I did this is I just pulled and counted to about 15 till I had the amount of yarn I wanted, folded it in 4, and then cut them into individual pieces so they were all nice and even. Next, I'm going to go ahead and line up my one piece of the pink and my plush ivory, and now it is time to start wrapping. So I mentioned before we want to have one side of this open at a time, and this one is a little bit loose so it will flip open on me, but we're going to line up our strands right at the edge right here in the front and begin wrapping. And the reason that you keep it closed is the yarn gets snagged on it, so try your hardest to keep it closed, but some of them are a little loose. And you just wrap it, and then you'll want to wrap it all the way back down. Now, and once you are at the end, you're going to go ahead and close that side and open the other. And all you need to do is cross over. You can actually trim at this point and then start again on the other side. I just like to cross over to make it one fluid motion, and wrap again. And the difference with this side is if I have a little bit of extra yarn from what I pre-cut, I am going to just keep wrapping until it's all being used, which is quite a bit apparently. Okay, and at that point I'll go ahead and trim, and I will close. So now, as you can see, it is wrapped entirely in the circle. It almost looks like a little peppermint, and this is where the scissors come in. So there is actually a in that your scissors will fit in, and you just snip along the line.
Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love.
So here is where that wraparound was. I'm going to have to go ahead and trim that now. This will require some cleanup at the end, but it's not a big deal. You just want to make sure all of them are severed. And then we do the exact same process on this side.
Give me all your love.
At this point, we're going to take another piece of our regular white yarn, and we are going to put it through that indentation line, wrap it around, and tie it. Make sure you pull really tight. still have a couple that aren't cut. I'm then going to flip it back over and do the same thing. And I'm going to go back around to the other side, and then I'm going to tie it 2 times. And that way we have a nice and secure pom, and these will be what we use to attach it to the wire ring. So now all we have to do is pop open our little pom-pom maker here. And then we actually take it apart, and we have a pom-pom. You just fluff it up. Take a look at any pieces that might be loose, pull them out, and trim any creases. They are so easy and they're actually really fun, and I find them therapeutic to make, so I've been making a ton of them. I'm really excited to make this wreath.
Forever, forever, forever. I'm loving this moment.
If you guys are a fan of DIY videos or decor videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and join my internet family, and don't forget to say hi in the comments so that I can welcome you to our little group.
I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay?
Okay, so the second pom I'm going to show you how to make is this one here. And for this one, we are going to be using some more of this Forever Plush Ivory. Also, this Lush Loft White, it's got a little bit of glitter to it. This Must Be Merino ReyAnn Blush Peach, again Yarn Bee, and this Rustic Romantic. And then again, some more of the traditional white yarn that I had on hand already, so I didn't grab any more of that.
Forever, forever.
Project took something like 40 or 42 pom-poms, so I worked on making these for a few days before actually putting it together. But like I said before, I actually find making them quite therapeutic. I find it fun and actually relaxing, so I do it while I'm watching TV or if I'm watching some YouTube videos. It's just my way of kind of zoning out and having some me time.
But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me.
Now that the pom-poms are all made, I'm going to go ahead and begin attaching them to this wire heart wreath that I found at Dollar Tree. I showed this in my Valentine's Day decor haul, but you can actually get these also at Hobby Lobby and on Amazon, but they are so much more expensive, so I highly recommend checking out your local Dollar Tree to see if you can pick one up.
City lights looking fun, and I know this is my time now.
To attach them, I am using the longer strings that I added when I was actually tying them together. And once they are tied on nice and tight, I'm just going to go ahead and trim the excess string.
I just wanna feel alive. just what I do when I'm out. So try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can.
Make sure that the colors were dispersed. I went ahead and tied all of the pom-poms of a certain color at one time around the wreath so that I knew that none of them would be right next to one another.
Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. I'm gonna.
I tied on all the poms. I did realize that there were a few places that still needed more, so I went ahead and made a few more to fill it in.
I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes.
And here is a look at the finished wreath. I am so happy with how it turned out, and I cannot wait to use it in my daughter's room.
Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing.
This DIY, I'm going to show you how I made this adorable Love You More felt banner. To start off, I went ahead and used my Cricut to cut out each of the letters. However, it didn't cut all the way through, so it just kind of gave me a template. In retrospect, I probably would have just cut out a stencil and traced them myself. So if you don't have a Cricut, this is a project you can still do. You'll just want to print out whatever font you want to use, trace it on the felt, and then cut each letter out. So I did go ahead and cut out each letter twice because I am going to sew them together and stuff them. And I'm so happy with the end result of this project, you guys.
Let me be honest, I don't know a single thing that I haven't done to make you notice me. Let me be real here. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that
I will tell you guys that this project is quite time consuming, cutting out all the letters, sewing all the letters together, stuffing all the letters, but it is totally worth it in the end because you get an amazing result and you spend a fraction of the cost. To sew up the letters, I am using embroidery floss and I am using 2 strands of it, folding it in half and tying it in a knot. I like the way that this looks because it gives it a thickness to it and it also gives it more texture. So to start off, I'm going to go in only one side of the letter and I am going to pull it all the way through until the knot is in the inside of the 2. This will hide any excess string and will allow you to have a clean stitch. Now I'm going to go ahead and wrap my needle and put it through the same hole, creating a circle, and I'm going to pull the thread through almost like making a knot. For the next stitch, I'm going to just go ahead and go through both pieces until I have my loop, pull my strand through, and pull tight. This, I believe, is called a blanket stitch, and it just gives such a cool effect to the outside of each letter, and I just love the way that this pink looks on the white. I am a huge fan of all of those felt banners that are out and especially all over Instagram right now. But when I was looking on Etsy and trying to find the perfect one, I noticed that they were just extremely expensive and right now outside of our budget. So I thought that I would be able to recreate them and actually have what I wanted for my decor at a fraction of the cost. And you guys, let me tell you, it really was so inexpensive to make this. And I have all of these supplies for future projects as well.
I think I might be hooked on you. I love the things you said.
once I have a good little start to the outside of my O here, I'm going to begin stuffing in some polyfill. I grabbed a big bag of this at Joann's. I think it was like $10, so it's super affordable, and you only need a very little bit to finish up what you are doing. So as I continue to close up the rest of my O, I'm going to every now and then stuff a little bit more polyfill in, and I'm just using the back of a pen to push it through to make sure it is nice and fluffy and all evenly dispersed.
I don't think I ever wanna go come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think we were meant to be. You make me anxious.
And once the letter is all closed up, this is what it looks like. I had so many of these to do, so I did go ahead and take them downstairs and watch some TV while I finished them up. It took a lot longer than I anticipated, so this is actually the next day. So here I'm just going to go ahead and lay out my letters in the order that I want them before attaching them to the rope to make the actual banner.
'Cause you're stuck on my mind. So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think
Really love the colors that I chose here. I didn't want to do any red because there's really no red in my daughter's room, and that is where this is going to hang. So those little pops of hot pink really make this for me. Now to create the banner, I am actually starting with the center because I wanted to make sure it was all nice and evenly distributed. So I am actually starting with the word U, starting with that O, and then moving out from there. Once I have everything spaced accordingly, I go ahead and move on to the other letters. Now I am just using some jute rope, and I'm just using some hot glue to attach them. I think this works out really well. I have seen them also sewed on, but for this project I thought hot glue would be the best option. You guys, I am so happy with how this turned out. It came out so much better than I ever imagined. Today's final DIY, we're going to be making this adorable Kisses for Sale sign. I'm starting off with a sign that I actually grabbed in the Target dollar spot during the Christmas season and never ended up using. I loved the red stripes, but I definitely did not love the red frame for her bedroom. So I am going to go ahead and paint it with a pink. I'm just using some folk art in the color Seashell Pink for this project. And once I get a coat of that on, I go ahead and let it dry for a few minutes before adding a second coat.
I will get close to your heartache if you want to open your door. I'm feeling kinda lost when your mind is hiding whatever that is choking.
While that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and use my Cricut to cut out the vinyl for this project so that it's ready to go for our sign. Again, if you do not have a Cricut machine, I would recommend printing out whatever font that you want on the computer and then just going ahead and creating a stencil. You could use an X-OXO knife to cut it out really precisely, and then use some paint with a sponge or a paint marker to get the desired look that you're going for.
Make you forget about what's wrong, let it all out on me.
Tell you that using this Cricut transfer tape was a nightmare, and I was talking to some friends and they actually recommended a different brand, so on my next project I will definitely be using a different type of transfer paper. Once I was finished peeling off the pink vinyl, I realized it was very difficult to see, as you can see here, so I did go ahead and change out the kisses for some more gold glitter, and I just love the end result.
Shaking 'cause you're holding it back.
That is the end of today's video. I hope you loved seeing how I did these cute little DIYs for my daughter's bedroom. If you try any of these, make sure you tag me over on Instagram at soveryyveronica. I would love to see how your projects turn out as well. See you all again on Friday in another video. We're decorating ReyAnn's room for Valentine's Day, and I can't wait to show you how it turns out.